Good evening, race fans. Welcome to Lucas Oil Speedway in Claremont, Indiana. I'm Aaron Johnson with the Johnson iRacing team, bringing you tonight's feature event in the U.S. Racing League Legends Car Weekly Series. This is event number 1 of the 2022 USRL Legends Car Series. Scheduled for 65 laps, a very strong field tonight. The average iRating 22:59. Some outstanding drivers have shown up for the first week. Let's have a look at this evening's starting lineup. Starting in the 17th spot will be Fish Fisher in car number 61. Unfortunately, Scott Crane did not make the starting bell in time, so Scott will have to start from the pits. In the 8th row, in position number 16, that is Caleb Gillick in car 15, and just to his inside in car number 21 will be Mike Matherly. In the 7th row, in position number 14, that's going to be Quentin Nuttall. Nuttall in car number 98, and to his inside, it's Blake Crane in car number 11. The 6th row features Jim Love in car 57 and Mark Breer from the Dysfunction Junction Racing team in car number 2 should be starting in the 11th spot. The next row up in position number 10, that will be Eric Sellers. Sellers currently being shown on the inside because Breer will be running race admin. Just ahead of Eric Sellers will be the 96 of Brandon Herzing. The next row up will include, having a little trouble with the telemetry here. This is a new system for me. Sorry about that. In the 4th row, Benjamin Richards in car number 56. And just to Richards' inside will be Jared Epker in car number 11. 3rd row will show Riley Goodwin in car number 27. And just to Goodwin's inside in car number 7, that will be Jed Cotterman of the Cotterman iRacing team. The 2nd row features Aaron Johnson in car 00 and Keegan Sabilo in car 77 with Nathaniel Spomer and Eric Steele on the front row. But there is an inversion. So with the inversion, Johnson will go to the 3rd spot, having won his heat race. Sellers will go to the 4th spot, and the front row will actually be Spomer in car number 16 on the pole with Keegan Sabilo just to his outside. The inversion creating a little bit more excitement here in the United States Racing League's Legend Car Weekly Series. Should be an outstanding event today as 18 drivers take the field. This is the first race of the season for USRL. Keegan Sabilo, the owner of this league, Mark Breer and Benjamin Richards will be working race control tonight. They'll make the calls for all the action on the speedway, as 15 drivers will ultimately battle it out for supremacy here at Indianapolis Raceway Park, now Lucas Oil Raceway. Spomer up front. He's one of the drivers to watch. Spomer set the quick time in qualifying. Keegan Sabilo also very quick. Your heat race winners, Johnson in the 00 won heat number 2. Johnson racing out of Waynesburg, Missouri. And the winner of heat number 1 in the 32, Eric Steele. Steele, the Division II Official Series champion for the final season of 2021. There are other drivers to watch. Jed Cotterman, very, very quick. Out of Port St. Lucie, Florida, Cotterman leads the Cotterman iRacing team. Pace car leads the field down the back straightaway. Lights are off. We should expect to see the pace car in this time by. The pace car is in. It's up to Spomer to determine how this race will begin. Nathaniel Spomer to the inside of the 77 of Keegan Sabilo. Nice tight start here. Drivers right on top of each other, holding up a really good tight field, and the green flag is out. That is Spomer jumping to a quick early lead. Nathaniel Spomer takes advantage, takes the lead over the 77 of Sabilo. Johnson drives the car in 10 miles deep in turn number 1, pulls up alongside the 16 of Spomer on his way out. Aaron Johnson drove that car in a country mile, and it looks like he's going to challenge for the lead early on. Aaron Johnson pulls past the 16 of Spomer. That'll be Johnson up front. Aaron Johnson making the pass to lead lap number 1 at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Johnson down the front straightaway into turn number 1, followed by Spomer, then Sabilo. It looks like the 7 of Jed Cotterman's there. Cotterman with an outstanding race car as well. Eric Steele, your pole sitter, is in the 5th spot behind Steele. The field is kind of bunching up. A lot of really good drivers. Looks like Riley Goodwin back there. Jared Epker moving into the 6th spot in the blue number 11. A good race so far. We're 3 laps in. Johnson leads. Spomer second. Jed Cotterman now looking to the inside of the 16 of Nathaniel Spomer. Cotterman trying to make the pass. As that flying number 7 car looks back to the inside. No dice. Cotterman in 3rd. Sabilo 4th. Steele in 5th. It looks like Jared Epker's trying to make a move on Eric Steele to take the 5th spot away. Some outstanding racing as we've got 15 very fast hot rods on the speedway. Jared Epker working on the 32 of Steele. Jed Cotterman working on the 16 of Spomer. Cotterman looks like he may have position as they come down the back straightaway, head into turn number 3 now. Cotterman driving in pretty deep. He's going to pull past, and maybe he doesn't even need to do the slide job. Cotterman get past the 16 of Spomer. It'll be Johnson, Cotterman, Spomer. On the inside, that's Jared Epker. Epker's moved up into the 5th spot. He's challenging Sabilo for 4th. A lot of action on the speedway. They're side by side, 3 rows deep as Johnson begins to pull away slightly from the 7 of Jed Cotterman. 5 laps into a 65-lap event. Johnson leads. Let's have a look at this battle. They're 2 wide. Epker to the inside of the 77 of Sabilo. The 32 of Eric Steele currently being shown in the 6th spot as Epker tries to make his way past Sabilo for 4th. Johnson out front, Cotterman 2nd, the 16 of Spomer in 3rd, then the 77 of Sabilo running 4th. Epker trying to find his way past. He's in 5th with Eric Steele running the high line in 6th, just behind Steele in the 98. That looks like Quentin Nuttall. Just behind Nuttall, we'll see Blake Crane, then Riley Goodwin and Eric Sellers. Sellers in the 10th spot. Eric Sellers was the Season 3 champion for the Tyler Daniels Racing League of Legends. A lot of outstanding drivers in this field as Aaron Johnson leads. Steele looking to the inside of Sabilo. It's Johnson, Cotterman, Spomer, Steele, Nuttall, Sabilo, then the 98 of Quentin Nuttall. Epker in the 5th spot. Has just made his way past around Sabilo. Sabilo dropping back to 6th as Eric Sellers makes a pass. Sellers moving into 8th. Jed Cotterman's taking a peek to the inside of the 00 of Johnson. Cotterman looks to the inside, no dice. Johnson runs that high line. Jed Cotterman turns the car down in the middle of the corner, comes out onto the straightaway, looking beneath the 00 of Johnson. Back to the start-finish line, 9 laps in. Johnson will lead. Cotterman in 2nd. Spomer 3rd. Steele 4th. Jed Cotterman again looking to the inside as Aaron Johnson runs that high line. Jed Cotterman off of turn 2 onto the back straightaway, challenging Johnson. Johnson holding on for now. It's Johnson, Cotterman, Spomer, Steele, then Epker, followed by Sabilo, Nuttall, Crane, Sellers, and Goodwin. The 32 looks to the inside of the 7 of Jed Cotterman. Johnson gains a little bit on the 7. Johnson running up high. Cotterman running a slightly lower line. Nuttall running a lower line still. Lucas Oil Speedway, a really nice track to race on. Nice and wide, these 5/8 scale Legends cars. There's a lot of room to maneuver. Cotterman looking to the inside, trying to use the low line to his advantage. He's pulled up just to the inside of the 00 of Johnson at the stripe. Johnson will lead lap number 10. Aaron Johnson with the lead. Jed Cotterman looking to the inside. Johnson staying on that high line. I think he's running up there to try to conserve some tires. 65 laps, a long race at Lucas Oil Speedway. Cotterman looking to the inside again. He pulls down on Johnson as they come out of turn number 4 onto the front straightaway. Jed Cotterman to the inside. Eric Steele also closing. Johnson leads. Cotterman 2nd. Steele 3rd. Epker 4th. Spomer in the 5th spot with Keegan Sabilo 6th and Eric Sellers in 7th. Cotterman has a nice run coming off at turn number 2. Johnson up high. Jed Cotterman to the inside. Johnson on the outside down the back straightaway. Cotterman pulling in ever so close. And he looks like he's going to make it past the 00 of Johnson. Cotterman drives in a mile deep into turn number 3, makes the pass, comes out onto the front straightaway. Jed Cotterman will take the lead on lap number 12. Johnson tags Cotterman just a bit. Aaron Johnson giving Cotterman a little nudge as they went into the corner. I don't know if that was intentional or if Johnson just didn't realize he was quite as close as he was. It's Cotterman, Johnson, Steele, then Epker, Spomer, Sabilo, and Sellers, your top 7. Blake Crane moving into the 8th spot with Quentin Nuttall 9th and Riley Goodwin 10th. We are 13 laps into a 65-lap event. Jed Cotterman has moved out to take the lead. Aaron Johnson currently in 2nd. Eric Steele 3rd. Jared Epker fourth, Nathaniel Spomer fifth. Let's see how they run on the speedway right now. Your leader is the 7 of Jed Cotterman. Just behind Cotterman, the next car on the speedway is the 00 of Johnson, then following Johnson, the 32 of Steele. That's the 11 of Jared Epker in fourth. Behind Epker, it's Nathaniel Spomer in the 5th spot, then a battle between the 97 of Eric Sellers and the 77 of Keegan Sabilo. That battle for 6th looks like Sellers is going to make the pass and relegate Sabilo to 7th spot. Behind Sabilo, the next car on the speedway is the 12 of Blake Crane. Then behind Crane, it's the 27 of Riley Goodwin. Goodwin currently shown in the 9th spot. And just behind Goodwin, that's the 98 of Quentin Nuttall. Nuttall currently running 10th. Just behind Nuttall, the next car on the speedway is Brandon Herzing in car number 96. He is in 11th. Then behind Herzing is the 15 of Caleb Gillick. Gillick currently showing up in 12th. Mike Matherly follows Gillick in car number 21. Those two cars battling for position. Matherly currently being shown in 12th, now Gillick in 13th. Behind those two, it's the 16 of the 61 of Fish Fisher. That's the Richie Evans tribute car. Fisher currently being shown in the 13th spot as he has just made his way past Caleb Gillick. The last car on the lead lap is the 57 of Jim Love. Jim currently being shown in 5th place. Benjamin Richards and Mark Breer are on admin duty, and Scott Crane did not make the feature. Out front, we're back in with Jed Cotterman. Cotterman currently running in the 1st spot. Aaron Johnson in 2nd. Eric Steele 3rd. Jared Epker 4th. Nathaniel Spomer 5th. Eric Sellers has moved into the 6th spot with Keegan Sabilo 7th. 18 laps into a 65-lap event, Jed Cotterman beginning to pull away from the 00 of Johnson. Johnson running a slightly higher line than Cotterman. That may be a strategic use of tires by Johnson, Steele, and Epker. All three of those cars running a higher line, maybe trying to preserve some tires. Cotterman continues to lead. Johnson runs in the 2nd spot. Steele is in 3rd. Epker 4th. Nathaniel Spomer hanging on to 5th with Eric Sellers in 6th and Keegan Sabilo in 7th. Behind them, it's Blake Crane, Quentin Nuttall, and Brandon Herzing rounding out the top 10. Out front, it is the familiar white, red, and black 7 of Jed Cotterman. We are 20 laps into a 65-lap event. So far, we've been clean and green. Excellent racing all over the speedway. Cotterman pulling away. Johnson putting a little distance between himself and the 32 of Eric Steele. Steele about a car length ahead of Jared Epker. Just behind Epker, it's Nathaniel Spomer in 5th, Sellers 6th, Sabilo 7th. Jed Cotterman with the lead. Johnson 2nd. Steele 3rd. Those three cars have been very quick all day. Cotterman and Johnson set the fastest times in practice. Eric Steele took the pole position. Steele and Johnson winning the heat races. So a lot of great cars here today, but Jed Cotterman beginning to pull away just a bit, putting some distance between himself and the 00, as it looks like Eric Steele's trying to make a pass on the 00 of Johnson. Johnson and Steele touch ever so slightly, just a slight little nudge from Steele and Johnson. Steele will move into the 2nd spot. Johnson will drop back to 3rd. Aaron Johnson trying to make it back on the outside using that high line, a little momentum off the turn, but Steele will make the pass. So Eric Steele will move into the 2nd spot. Aaron Johnson in 3rd. Epker now in 4th. Out front, it is still Jed Cotterman. Cotterman really beginning to pull away from the rest of the field. Jed Cotterman with about a 7-car length advantage over the 32 of Eric Steele. We are 24 laps into a 65-lap event. Jed Cotterman leads. They come off the turn, back out onto the back straightaway. Jed Cotterman's up front. He holds on to the lead as we complete lap number 24. Looks like the caution must be out. Caution is on the speedway. Cotterman leads. Steele is 2nd. Johnson's 3rd. Let's see if we can figure out what happened to bring out the caution flag. Mike Mather looks like he moved down a little bit. I don't know what car that was that bounced off the wall, but Matherly looked like he might have reacted, and that created some issues. It also looks like we've got some cars headed onto pit lane. Cotterman stays out. The rest of the leaders pit. Eric Steele is in. Johnson is in. Jared Epker is in. Who else is in the pits? We see Johnson. 77 of Sabilo comes in. Epker is in. The 97 of Sellers is in. Love is in. Mike Matherly is in. The 96 of Brandon Herzing is in the pits. Jed Cotterman electing to stay out. Cotterman stays out. Behind Cotterman, it looks like Spomer, Riley Goodwin, Caleb Gillick all stay out. Eric Steele will come out of the pits, it looks like, in the 5th spot. That could be trouble for Jed Cotterman. Cotterman electing to stay out. It also looks like Quentin Nuttall chose to stay out. Nuttall in the 98 chose to stay out as well. Nuttall looks like maybe he is a lap down, along with Blake Crane. Out front, it is Cotterman. We're 27 laps into a 65-lap event. Jed Cotterman leads. He will be on 27-lap-old tires when we restart this race. Eric Steele, Aaron Johnson, Jared Epker, Eric Sellers, Keegan Sabilo, Brandon Herzing, Jim Love, Mike Matherly, and Fish Fisher will be on new rubber. It'll be interesting to see if we make it through the rest of the race caution-free. That could be disastrous for the cars that remain out. If we have another caution, that could be a windfall for those drivers, as we are limited in the U.S. Racing League, limited to one set of tires for this event. All those drivers that went into the pits did choose to change tires. So new rubber for all the drivers that pitted. We are getting ready to go back green. Jed Cotterman is on the inside. The 16 of Spomer on the outside. Next row will be Riley Goodwin and Caleb Gillick. Gillick running in the 4th spot. In row 3, it'll be Eric Steele and Aaron Johnson starting 5th and 6th. Behind those two cars, looks like Eric Sellers and Keegan Sabilo. The field will start double file. Cotterman on the inside. The pace car leads the field by. We should get the one to go this time by. Lights are off on the pace car. We will restart next time around, barring anything unforeseen. Jed Cotterman out front. Cotterman, Spomer, Gillick and Goodwin on old tires. Just behind them, the drivers on new rubber. Eric Steele, Johnson, Epker, Sellers, Sabilo, the 96 of Herzing, Matherly, Love, Fisher, Quentin Nuttall, a lapped car also. Oh, a little tag there between the 7 of Cotterman and the 16 of Spomer. Don't know what that was about. Cotterman hammers the throttle. He gets off to a good start. Jed Cotterman gets a nice restart. He is out front ahead of the 16 of Spomer. Just behind them, it's Riley Goodwin. Eric Steele already making a pass on Caleb Gillick. Steele looks to the inside. He's going to make a pass on the 27 and the 16, both coming out of turn number 2 onto the back straightaway. Eric Steele very quickly moving forward. Steele trying to make the pass to take the 2nd spot. Jed Cotterman a sitting duck as Eric Steele has fresh rubber, and he is flying down the front straightaway. Steele looks to the inside of the 7 of Cotterman. Johnson and Epker side by side. Epker manages to get inside Johnson. Johnson is blocked. There's a little bit of traffic between himself and Epker, but Eric Steele's going to take the lead. Johnson looking to the high side, now behind Jared Epker. The faster cars on newer tires struggling a little bit here with traffic. Jed Cotterman hanging on to the 2nd spot. Jared Epker has moved into the 3rd position. Aaron Johnson just behind Epker in 4th. It's Steele, Cotterman, Epker, Johnson, then the 97 of Sellers and the 77 of Sabilo, both going by Spomer. Johnson looks to the high side of Jed Cotterman. He's going to make the pass on Cotterman. Cotterman making a little bit of a pick for Johnson as Johnson picked off Jared Epker. Johnson moves into the 2nd spot. He's closing on the 32 of Eric Steele. It is Steele, Johnson, Epker, Sellers, Sabilo. Eric Sellers goes past Jared Epker on the inside. Keegan Sabilo is on the outside. Sellers looks to the inside of the 11 of Jared Epker. No dice. Ooh, Sabilo just touching the wall. It looked like Sellers was going to slide up. He managed to hang on. Sabilo touched the wall there as Jared Epker goes past Aaron Johnson, now tries to make his way past the 32 of Steele. Epker making a hard dive in the middle of the corner. We are on lap 34 of 65, just past the halfway point. Jared Epker challenging Eric Steele for the lead. Epker on the inside, Steele on the outside. They come out of the turn now down the back straightaway. Epker driving hard, runs deep into turn number 3. Steele up on the high side. Jared Epker going to try to slide up here and take this position. They come off of turn number 4 onto the front straightaway. Jared Epker on the inside, Eric Steele on the outside at the stripe. It will be Jared Epker with the lead. Epker trying to make his way past. Steele on the outside, Johnson in third, Sellers fourth. Jared Epker trying to pass. He just can't quite get this pass completed as Eric Steele uses the momentum on that high line. Runs back out in front of the 11 of Epker through the center of 3 and 4 now onto the front straightaway. Epker trying once again to make the pass on the 32 of Steele. Steele goes back by on the high side at the stripe. Eric Steele will lead. Steele is in first. Epker is in second. Epker trying one more time to get past the 32 of Steele. Drives out of turn number 2 onto the back straightaway. Steele pulls him down the back straight. The momentum off that high line. Eric Steele stays in first. Jared Epker is in second. Johnson third. Slides up a little bit high. Opens the door for the 77 of Sabilo. Keegan Sabilo looks to the inside of the 00. Out front, it's the 32 of Steele, followed by Epker. Then Johnson, Sabilo, Sellers, and the 96 of Brandon Herzing. Herzing looking to the inside of the 97 of Eric Sellers. Let's focus in there as we also see Keegan Sabilo going by the 00 of Johnson. Sabilo trying to make the pass. Can't quite get it done. Sellers looks to the inside. Now Herzing looks to the inside of Sellers. Sabilo looking to the inside of Johnson again. They are racing hard for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Keegan Sabilo leads Johnson at the stripe. Johnson on the high side. Sabilo down low. Sabilo drives in deep. Plenty of room. Johnson going to allow Sabilo to get right back inside. It's Steele, Epker, Sabilo, Johnson. Then the battle between Herzing and Sellers for 5th. Johnson using a very high line, almost getting the outside wall, I think trying to save some tires as the 32 of Sellers, the 11 of Epker, the 77 of Sabilo, the 96 and 97 racing side by side. Herzing trying to find his way around the 97 of Eric Sellers. Herzing also looking underneath the 00 of Johnson. Brennan Herzing doing a nice job as Sabilo looks to the inside of Jared Epker. It's Steele, Epker, Sabilo, Johnson, Herzing, and Sellers, your top 6. Sellers looking back to the inside of the 96 one more time. They come to the start-finish line. 26 laps to go. Eric Steele with the lead. Sellers looking to the inside of Herzing. Johnson up high. He's running in the 4th spot as Eric Sellers tries to find his way around the 96 of Brandon Herzing. Out front, Steele leads. Epker looks to the inside. No dice. Eric Steele out front. Jared Epker looking to the inside one more time. He makes a hard dive coming out of turn number 2 onto the back straightaway. The 11 of Epker trying to make his way, onto the front straightaway, trying to make his way past Eric Steele. Doesn't quite have enough to get it done. Eric Steele using the high line, the momentum, allowing him to pull back past the 11 of Epker. Epker slides back up. Looks like he's going to make the pass this time. Jared Epker with the slide job. Steele with the crossover. Looks back to the inside. Eric Steele crosses over and tries to get back under the 11 of Epker. Epker runs up too high. The momentum leaves him. Eric Steele goes back to take the lead. Steele up front. Epker second. Sabilo third. Johnson fourth. Epker back to the inside one more time. They come into turn number 1. Jared Epker dives into turn 1. Eric Steele up high. Epker down low. They come out of 2 onto the back straightaway. Jared Epker holding that inside line. Eric Steele up high. The momentum favoring Steele as they come down the backstretch. Eric Steele holding on to the lead with Jared Epker in second, Sabilo third, and Johnson fourth. Epker pulling back forward in the middle of 3 and 4. They come out onto the front straightaway. Eric Steele with the momentum. He will lead with 23 laps to go. Steele 1, Epker 2. Sabilo 3. Sabilo now looking to the inside of the 11 of Jared Epker. Sabilo down low, tries to make his way past the 11. Steele leading. Sabilo second. Epker now third. Johnson fourth. Herzing has settled into the 5th spot. Fisher in 6th as Eric Sellers has dropped all the way back into 12th. Up front, it's the 32 of Eric Steele. Steele with the lead. Sabilo second. Epker third. Johnson closing in. He is now within a car length of the 11 of Jared Epker. Johnson has been using that high line. That might be a tire strategy as we get later into the run to see if Johnson has anything for the 11. The 32 of Eric Steele is out front. Sabilo in second, about 2 car lengths back. then Epker and Johnson, then 2 car lengths back to the 96 of Herzing. Fisher is in the 6th spot, the Richie Evans tribute car. Fisher with a nice run. Let's have a look at how they run on the speedway. Out front, it is the 32 of Eric Steele. Just behind Steele, it's the 77 of Keegan Sabilo. Sabilo currently sits in the 2nd position. Behind Sabilo, that's the 11 of Jared Epker. The next car on the speedway behind Epker is the 00 of Aaron Johnson. Johnson in 4th, followed by the 96 of Brandon Herzing. Those are your top 5 cars. They've pulled away slightly from the rest of the field. It's a gap back to the 61, that Richie Evans tribute car piloted by Don Fisher. Fisher currently in the 6th spot. Then behind Fisher, it is the 57 of Jim Love. Brother Love currently running in 7th. Behind Jim, it's Mike Matherly in the 21, Matherly in the 8th spot. The next car on the speedway is Jed Cotterman. Cotterman in 9th. He is well back of the leaders. The gamble to stay out on old tires coming back to bite Cotterman. He needs a caution in the worst way. Behind Cotterman, it's the 16 of Spomer. Spomer in 10th. Then behind Spomer, the next car on the speedway looks to be Eric Sellers in the 97. Sellers currently running in 11th. Behind Sellers, that's the 15 of Caleb Gillick. Gillick currently being shown in the 12th spot. The next car on the speedway behind Gillick is the 98 of Quentin Nuttall. Nuttall currently shown in 14th. Then behind Nuttall, that's the 27 of Riley Goodwin. Goodwin in 13th is the last car on the lead lap. Behind Goodwin, we're back around to the leaders. That's the 32 of Eric Steele as Johnson has closed in on the 11 of Jared Epker and the 77 Aaron Johnson. A quick race car doesn't quite have enough to get past anyone as Eric Steele holds on to the lead. It is Steele, Sabilo, Epker, Johnson, Herzing. Those your top 5. Johnson really closing in on the back of the 11. Let's zoom in and take a closer look at that race. Johnson running the high line, trying to find his way around. Looks to the inside, now goes back to the high side, trying to use whatever draft there might be. Looks to the outside of the 11. 11 Epker down low, Johnson the 00 up high. They come off of turn into the straightaway. Steele leads. Johnson trying to find his way around the 11 of Jared Epker. They're in turn number 3. Epker running the high line. Johnson running the high line as well. And no momentum help here as Sabilo begins to look to the inside of the 32. Steele, Sabilo, Epker, Johnson, Herzing. Those are the top 5. Out front, it is Eric Steele. 15 laps to go. Steele trying to hold off a charging 77 of Keegan Sabilo. Johnson trying to find his way around the 11 of Jared Epker. Epker battling Sabilo as well. 4 cars running nice and tight up front. A slight gap back to Brandon Herzing, but Herzing is there. Should anything happen, he should be able to capitalize. Out front, it's the 32 of Steele, followed by Sabilo. Then Epker, Johnson. Sabilo and Steele running the high line. Epker and Johnson running slightly lower that time by. Out onto the back straightaway, it is Eric Steele with the lead. Steele, Sabilo, Epker, Johnson. Johnson's dropped back just a bit as Keegan Sabilo looks to the inside of the 32. He gets about halfway up Steele's door. Steele pulls him down the front straightaway. The momentum from that high line, too much for the 77 to overcome. Steele with the lead. Now Epker looks to the inside of Sabilo. Johnson backing off just a bit. I don't know if he's slowing or if he's just biding his time. There are 13 laps to go. Keegan Sabilo all over the 32 of Eric Steele. It's Steele, Sabilo, Epker, Johnson, Herzing. Those 5 cars pulling away. Then Fisher in the 6th spot. Eric Steele with a nice run. Jared Epker closing in on the 77. Aaron Johnson about a car length behind Epker. Steele, Sabilo, Epker, Johnson, Herzing. Johnson looks to the inside this time. Cuts that corner a little bit lower. So does the 77 of Sabilo. Steele continues to run the high line. Keegan Sabilo trying to get a fender underneath as Herzing closes on Johnson. Johnson now has dropped back about 2 car lengths behind the 11 of Jared Epker. Herzing closing on Johnson. No dice. Looked to the inside, but didn't have enough race car. It'll be Eric Steele out front. 5-car breakaway. These 5 cars battling for the win. Steele, Sabilo, Epker, and Johnson, along with Brandon Herzing. We take a look at the battle box. We can see that Steele is up front. Sabilo 0.2 of a second back. Epker about 0.4 back. Out front, it is all Eric Steele, that high line. Johnson looks to the inside of the 11. Don't know if he's going to have enough to get that pass done. Can't get it done. Herzing looks to the inside of Johnson. Johnson looks to the inside one more time. Doesn't have enough race car. Epker now looks low, trying to make up some ground on the 77 of Sabilo. A lot of action at the end of the race as Herzing goes high. It is Sabilo in second. Steele up front. Epker looks to the inside. Johnson now turns down low, looks to the inside. Epker doesn't quite have enough to get position on Sabilo. He tucks back in line. 9 laps to go. Down the back straightaway. Eric Steele with the lead. Sabilo second. Epker third. Johnson fourth. Sabilo looking to the inside of the 32. They come off of turn number 4 onto the front straightaway. Sabilo with not quite enough race car. Johnson up high. Touches the wall. It's a hard run among these 5 leaders. These guys driving the wheels off the race cars. Sabilo looking to the inside one more time. Doesn't quite have enough. They come off of turn 2 onto the back straightaway. Eric Steele holds on to the lead. It's Steele, Sabilo, Epker, Johnson, Herzing. Those the top 5. We see a lapped car coming on newer tires. Eric Steele out front. Sabilo looks to the inside one more time. They come off of turn number 4 onto the front straight. Steele leads. Sabilo second. Epker third. Johnson all over the 11 of Epker, trying to find a way around Jared Epker. Brandon Herzing has dropped back a couple of car lengths as we see a lapped car sneaking in. I don't know who that is. It looks like it might be Quentin Nuttall sneaking into the picture. Sabilo looks to the inside one more time. They come off of turn number 4 onto the front straightaway. Sabilo doesn't have enough. He jumps back up to the high line to try to keep Jared Epker from taking the high spot away. It's Steele, Sabilo, Epker, Johnson, Herzing. Great race. 6 laps to go. Eric Steele leads. Can he hold off Keegan Sabilo? It looks like Sabilo might have a slightly faster race car, but he just doesn't have enough to get past the 32. Steele up high. Sabilo looking low one more time off of turn 4 at the line. It's still Eric Steele with the lead. Now Epker looks to the inside of the 77 of Sabilo. Johnson runs a line intermediate between the two. Down the back straightaway they come, and Eric Steele leads. We see some lap traffic coming into play. That looks like it might be the 27 of Riley Goodwin. Sabilo dives into the corner, tries to get underneath the 32 of Eric Steele. No dice. They're down the front straightaway, closing in on the 27. That is the lapped car of Riley Goodwin. Steele up front, Sabilo second, Epker third, Johnson fourth. Those 4 cars nose to tail. They've begun to put some distance between themselves and Riley Goodwin. Eric Steele leads. Lap traffic into play. 4 to go. The 27 of Goodwin stays down low, gives the leaders plenty of room. Keegan Sabilo closing in. 3 to go now. Eric Steele leads. Sabilo second. Epker third. Johnson fourth. Herzing fifth. As Epker looks to the inside of the 97 one more time. It is Steele out front. Down the back straightaway. 3 laps to go. Eric Steele leads, followed by the 77 of Sabilo, the 11 of Epker, and the 00 of Aaron Johnson. Eric Steele runs out front. They come past the start-finish line. Steele leads. 2 to go. Eric Steele with the lead, followed by the 77 of Keegan Sabilo. Sabilo looks to the low side. So does Epker. Sabilo with a nice run as he comes off of turn number 2. Will he have enough? Down the back straightaway. Eric Steele with the momentum hangs on. 2 to go. They come into turn number 3. Sabilo drives in deep. The 11 of Jared Epker just behind him. Johnson half a line up from them, trying to use the momentum to gain. At the white flag, it is the 32 of Eric Steele. 1 lap to go. Steele into turn number 1 for the final time. Sweeps through turn number 2, out onto the back straightaway. It is Steele, Sabilo, Epker, Johnson. Those 4 cars battling for the lead. Down the back straightaway into turn number 3 for the final time. Eric Steele up high. Sabilo drives a mile deep, trying to hang on. Eric Steele, as it looks like Steele's going to use the momentum to come back on the outside, and at the stripe, Eric Steele will hang on for the win. Keegan Sabilo will come home in the 2nd spot, with Aaron Johnson finishing 4th and Jared Epker winding up 3rd. The 5th place position will go to Brandon Herzing. Wow, what a race. 65 laps, and at the end you could throw a blanket over the top 5 cars. Eric Steele used the high line to perfection to take the victory. Let's have a look at the final results from Lucas Oil Speedway. Eric Steele takes the win for Horse Dog Motorsports. Keegan Sabilo runs home 2nd, with Jared Epker 3rd, Aaron Johnson 4th, and Brandon Herzing finishing at 5th. Behind those 5 cars, Donald Fisher The Fish, as he is affectionately known, comes home 6th, with Mike Matherly 7th, Jim Lovin 8th, Jed Cotterman 9th, and Nathaniel Spomer rounding out the top 10. Eric Sellers finishes 11th, with Caleb Gillick in 12th. 12 cars finishing on the lead lap, despite only one caution. An excellent field. Riley Goodwin comes home 13th, with Quentin Nuttall 14th. Blake Crane in the 15th spot. Crane 45 laps down after having to disconnect, and Scott Crane never could rejoin the field. Crane will officially finish in 16th. That will do it for the first week of the U.S. Racing League Legends Car Weekly Series from Lucas Oil Speedway. For the Johnson iRacing team on the Johnson iRacing Network, this is Aaron Johnson saying, go fast, turn left, have fun.